everyone, I hope you're having a great day today. In this video, we're going to be doing a review for Batman Mask of the Phantasm, which was released in 1993. So to just hop right into the review, this is a Batman movie that's only about an hour and 15-ish minutes long, so if you stop and think about it, you could probably watch this movie twice and someone in another room could have just finished The Dark Knight, which is 2.5 hours. Now, a lot of people probably haven't checked this movie out because it's animated and they only do live action, but that's definitely not a good way to judge it because I do think it is definitely worth watching, especially if you're a fan of Batman or even just superhero comic book movies in general. The art style here is very good, obviously. It's like Batman the Animated Series. I think it's a little bit better quality even then because it's just brought up to a theatrical level. The music is also just really well done, so the whole look and feel is pretty good. It obviously kind of uses the classic animation style, and I think it's okay for this movie to be pretty short because it doesn't have a particularly long story. A lot of people described it as an extended episode of Batman the Animated Series, but I really just think of it as more of a just shorter film, which is what it is. The plot here is really good, and they do some flashbacks with kind of an origin story of Bruce Wayne becoming Batman without revealing anything like too much, like how exactly he got his training and stuff, which I think is a pretty good way to do it because it's still kind of mysterious, but you see him just becoming Batman. The new villain here is also pretty good, obviously the Phantasm, and there turns out to be a twist reveal of who that is, which I don't want to spoil it if you haven't seen it, but just all of these elements, emotion, action, romance, they all just fit in here pretty nicely. And as I said, the Phantasm in here is a really good villain and provides a pretty good threat. Normally, I'm not a huge fan of when they make new villains because there's just a wide variety of people to pick out from the comics, but this just works very well, and you even get the Joker in here, voiced by Mark Hamill, which is probably the best version of the Joker, especially just the laugh, and he as well is also just very intimidating, and you just know he can get what he wants. And there's even hints in this movie towards the Joker's origin story, which, again, it's like the Batman origin story where I feel like they don't reveal too much, just enough to give you an idea of what he did in the past. Now, there are a lot of mob bosses in this movie, and I feel like they kind of had a missed opportunity where they could have used Carmine Falcone from the comics, and especially other characters from the comics. I know Commissioner Gordon and Harvey Bullock have a little bit of a role in this, but I feel like they could have just used a few more. And also because they kind of treat it like an extended episode of Batman the Animated Series, they didn't do anything to introduce these characters and make it seem like you're watching them for the first time. Now, when you get to the end of the movie, I think the final battle is just something that's done very well. I do think it could be a little bit different because obviously it ends with the huge explosion where you're left to think that Andrea dies, and then it shows that she didn't, but she's still sad and alone. And I'm a little conflicted because I feel like it could have been better if they just cut that scene and made it seem like she just died, but at the same time it kind of adds another layer to the story. So that's just something I kind of have mixed feelings on. It doesn't really make a difference. And another neat thing about this movie is a lot of times in newer movies, especially if they're targeted towards kids, they kind of tone down the violence and blood and stuff, but there's some blood in here, and it's not afraid to show you that these characters are getting brutally beat up. So it's something that it's definitely a kid could watch it, but I do like how they just don't have an over concern about it being super family friendly to the point where it's just toned down too much because this is a Batman movie that we're talking about. So overall, on the scale of 0 to 100, I'll give Batman Mask of the Phantasm an 88%. Definitely recommend it. You don't want to skip this one. And they recently announced that it's going to be coming out on 4K, so that's pretty cool. But as always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.